Spoken word is a type of poetry rich with imagery, meant to be read out loud so that the listeners will feel as though they're in the story too. So although very nervous about it, I'd like to share a poem with you. Written on September 20th, 2017, this is Notes from Cora. I heard there was a history between them, though never any specifics. All this talk of a boy and a girl named Cora. So I asked them, separately, because they were never together anymore. The boy told me, "It was the tap on my shoulder before I stepped onto the bus at the end of the day. It was the glance across the room, the conversation of looks. We somehow knew exactly what each other was thinking without ever having to say a word. It was the anticipation of opening the folded paper, anxious to see what's inside. It was all of it. All perfect." But Cora said, "He called it perfect? I suppose. Maybe great or just enough. Perfect was more like the way he ended his sentences with a little totted line to say what he didn't know how to. It was the translation of 3 words into the stroke of his pen. Or maybe the way he listened to music. Headphones on, eyes closed, just slightly swaying to the beat like no one was watching. It was the carelessness, the confidence. That was perfect." He went on to say, "With a name like Cora, you couldn't help but wonder what she was like. She used to have long brown hair that covered her eyes when she looked down, but one day it was all gone. In its place was the prettiest short hair in the world. It was gray now. You could see her eyes, blue and bright. I asked her why. She asked me why not. She was so comfortable in who she was, who she once was." One day, Cora dropped her pen, mumbled something under her breath, sighed, and searched the ground. She wouldn't find it there. It had rolled all the way to the back of the room, right where my desk was. She didn't find it, and I didn't get it back to her. I waited 1 day, then 2. Day 3, a note arrived, stuck to the top of my desk. All it took was that single sheet of paper that started an endless conversation. For the rest of the year, we had a symphony of post-it notes, each one better than the last. Questions asked, then answered without a momentary delay. No awkward silence, because to be silent on paper is to just leave it blank. It was perfect. Until it wasn't anymore. She was shocked when she heard that. He said the perfect ended? Well, I don't think it was ever there. We had classes that became conversations, and then before we knew it, we were studying each other. A friendship, I suppose, but it was more than that, not in the way of love, but a connection I didn't even know how to control. A collection of note cards that acted as a voice when we weren't supposed to speak at all. That feeling of rebelliousness that came with the words passing back and forth until we knew so much about each other we could write biographies from start to finish. But maybe that was the problem. Maybe we knew too much. The boy saw it a different way. Too much? Not enough. She was still a mystery to me, a mind revealed through each 3x3 piece of paper I read, one at a time, concentrating on every curve on each letter. That was the too much she was afraid of, but I think she knew that her brain was a dam, holding back all of it, so if one thing breaks, the rest will pour out, destroying everything in its path. A waterfall of words that had been held back by barriers made out of fear. She feared losing me by saying too much, but I'm just afraid of not knowing everything. We shared smirks with each other that spoke for themselves, but she always looked away before I got the chance to hear the end. And now, she wouldn't look at me. Those smirks became blank stares past each other's faces. The classes became classes. An hour and a half of seeing her and missing all that we once had. The notes from Cora now laid on the ground. Crumpled up memories creased in a certain way that broke the part of my heart that longed for it to be back to normal. But there she sat, not fazed at the fact that she now wrote in a notebook to hand to the teacher, not a note card to pass back to me. Cora said, "Biographies? More like psych evals." He could see through my wall no matter how strong I built it up. He could analyze me in a way I didn't even understand. How could he call me perfect, but see my flaws with a prescription no glasses of mine could ever have? My emotional wreck of a brain and my unstable sanity, but he managed to call me perfect? He knew me inside and out. He'd figured me out before I even got the chance to do so myself. The last note was too much for me. My immediate reaction was to crush it in my hand and let it drop onto the ground. The way it fell was in slow motion, every rotation erasing our friendship before both of our eyes. I tried to convince myself that it was for the better, but I couldn't. Once it hit the ground, I felt his heart sink, because together ours operated in unison. When one broke, we broke together. But this time, I took a deep breath and pushed each feeling to the pit of my stomach, and I let the note sit on the floor in a pile of guilt staring back at me. I felt so indebted to him. I owed him everything, but I couldn't give that. So I ran away from the good that was there to avoid the undeniable fate of disappointment that I anticipated. And that's why it wasn't perfect, and that's why it never could have been. He ended it by saying, "The last thing I told her must have scared her away. Those 4 words must have chased her. I love you, Cora." And after hearing all that, I can tell you, that's what the song's about.
You know me better than I know myself. You could write my own psych eval. See how I'm crazy, but call me perfect. You saw through the wall that I built up to hide the mess from my bad luck. Unstable sanity, but call me perfect. I would kill to have those glasses that you're wearing. That prescription, do you mind if we're sharing? Just to see for a second, maybe you're not double checking. Help me understand. Wish I saw myself the way you see me, like the girl in the mirror staring back at me. All the flaws, all the faults, all the broken parts, I would change them all in a heartbeat. Wish I saw myself the way you see me, so beautiful, extraordinary. And all the scars are the calls of my broken heart, from avoiding to see what you see. Pick out the parts I don't like, how my stomach looks when my shirt's tight. So insecure, but you think I'm perfect. I hate my hair most days, but you say you like it every way. So hesitant, but you think I'm perfect. I second guess cause I'm thinking you were lying. How the hell do you love what leaves me crying? I struggle to believe what you say you've always seen. Help me understand. Wish I saw myself the way you see me, like the girl in the mirror staring back at me. All the flaws, all the faults, all the broken parts, I would change them all in a heartbeat. Wish I saw myself the way you see me, so beautiful, extraordinary. And all the scars are the cause of my broken heart, boy, you didn't see what you see. All I wanna know is how you focus on my smile. All I see are my dimpled cheeks and my crooked teeth, gap getting wider and wider. All I wanna know is why you say you love my style, when the socks don't match and the colors clash in a million shades of yellow.